Captain Saxena, who's Kargil War veteran. We have Major General Asthana, who's defense expert. We're also joined by Major General Katoch, defense expert, and Major General Kocher also joining us right now. Good morning to all of you. First, if I can go across to Captain Saxena. Sir, your first thoughts on Prime Minister's strong address that he made from the Kargil War Memorial.
So I think it is very important that, so it is very important that whatever PM talked today, the strong message need to be given. If you really go back 25 years, right, it's a very important day. I think it's a day of pride for all Indians, but at the same time, it's a day of pain also for us because we have lost our brothers, 527 brothers, and more than thousands were badly injured, right, who are still fighting with their life every day. So that strong message has to be given. In Kargil War, we have got the victory against all the difficulty. But then Pakistan should not try to do this thing again and again, right? So the message has been given through Balakot strike, through surgical strike, and now you see their focus has been shifted from Srinagar Valley to Doda, right? So that infiltrator will start, they start doing some activity. So just going back to Kargil War, I think it was one of the most difficult war which we have ever fought because through this conspiracy of occupying our peaks on the Kargil war, we have got many others option, but then there was no option. We have to only go through these peaks and get these peaks. So it was most difficult war. And General Malik, who is there today, he was the chief of staff, and we fought a war. It was just because of the bravery of junior officers and the Jawans that we could win in this situation, where the temperature was in minus 18 degrees centigrade and enemy was sitting on top. I just want to tell my viewers that, in mountain warfare, if somebody is sitting on top, he is like 100 times more powerful. These cliffs were like 70 to 85 degree of gradient. And enemy knew that Indian soldiers will only come through these peaks. So he has put mines all across. So it was a very difficult situation, right? And enemy could see us, even we decide and start the attack. And tunneling, if I remember, was the most difficult attack. And I was really honored to be part of this important attack, which was the turning point in the entire Kargil war. So Colonel Ravindnath was our CO, and we started this attack on 12th June. Before this, 4 attacks were not successful. And the body of our officers, Major Vikas Adhikari, Captain Vishnathan led this one of the attack from Grenadiers. It was just lying there. And in army, we say, we will not leave our man behind, right? We will get it. We will get it at any cost, dead or alive. So we started this attack. And before going for this attack, we actually didn't know that we will come back or not. In fact, Captain Vijay Thapar was me and few other officers, we have written last letter to our family because we were not sure that we will get the chance to even speak to them. And, last letter is a tradition which is written when you are going for attack, when the chances of coming back are hardly anything. So we want to convey our feeling to our family, to our wife. I was newly married, to my mother and my father. And I've written to my father and my mother that, by the time you get this letter, because you get this letter only if officer does not come back. If you come back, you tear it off. So I was lucky that I tore off this letter 3 times. But, my friend, Captain Vijayan, when his father got the letter, the first word that when you get this letter, I'll be watching you from the sky. But don't be sad, because if I will again be born, I will again join the Indian Army, right? So that was the heights of motivation which we carried while going for this attack. In fact, we have got a tradition. We put a Kesariya Vana on our top. And Kesariya Vana is a symbol that we will win or we will not come back.
Right.
And then we started this attack with a lot of massive artillery fire on 12th June without taking any food or any water. We did not carry anything just to eat. We just carried our arms, ammunition, bullets.
Yes.
Because we thought
Sir,
if we will win.
requesting you to stay with us. Yes, we'll keep hearing those anecdotes again, but let's also go across to Havaldar Sanau Lamir, who's joining us right now. He played a crucial war in the 1999 Kargil War. But before we get him back, let's go across to Major General Katoch, who is joining us, defense expert. Sir, your quick thoughts for the viewers who are tuning in, who would want to know more about the 1999 war. If you can quickly run us through the challenges that the army faced at that stage. What were those challenges precisely? And also talk to us a little more about the leadership skills that were exhibited by Captain Vikram Batra.
Thank you. Firstly, greetings on Vijay Diwas. I think this has been one of the most important victories which India has won, because specifically it has been won against great odds. This was mission impossible. We see these Western movies of talk. I think what we saw in Kargil for those days on end of battles, that was mission impossible. And that the fact that we won is a tribute to our young soldiers, to the young officers, to the battalion commanders who fought with great grit. Now, coming down to, a little bit of a background. Prime Minister Vajpayee had actually gone to Lahore in February. And that was the time when a rapprochement was being made between India and Pakistan. And there was an aura that, okay, now we will have peace. I think what really happened was that this was strategic deception carried out by the Pakistanis at the highest level. Because even when Vajpayee was shaking hands with Nawaz Sharif in Lahore after that bus ride, there were more than 200 infiltrators, people of the Pakistani NLI, who were already inside across the LOC. And some of them had occupied the Kargil heights. So there was a feeling amongst our intelligence agencies also, perhaps there was a misassessment, and also within the military, that perhaps, that there is not going to be a war. And when the intrusions were initially detected, I don't think the correct assessment was made that these people are will be staying on here, and this is going to be an attack. Perhaps one of the reasons was this Lahore visit, which actually made many people at the senior level who were carrying out assessments go wrong in the basic premise. But that notwithstanding, once it was detected, I think there was very great focus on the part of the political authority and on the part of the armed forces, both the Indian Army and the Indian Air Force. They were very, very focused on getting them down. It was an impossible mission. The orders which were given were to evict those people. There were certain restraints. But despite all that, I think the mission was executed with absolute precision and with such courage and bravery, it has never really been seen in the annals of military history. It was a victory won against the greatest odds. When we are looking back now, there was a complete change in the political dynamics also after this victory was won. This was the time when rapprochement was made between the United States and India. So the policy of the US to India changed, and from there, it has only grown from strength to strength. I think India became known for its prowess after that, the Indian military. The first time it became known in 1971, and now it again became known in 1999, that this is a political authority, this is the nation, and this is the military, which is very, very strong, which is very capable, and which will deliver the odds. The Captain Saab has given such a beautiful anecdote, I mean, it really puts the tears in our eyes when you hear those accounts, first-hand accounts of the last, especially of the last letter. So many last letters were written by our brave officers. Well, most of them, quite a few of them, fortunately, could tear them up. But there were many who couldn't. Vijayan Thapa, whom I knew personally, of course, was one of those brave hearts who couldn't. But when we are looking at these stories, there are hundreds and hundreds of stories. And I think each time we hear those stories, our hearts expand with pride. Actually, I personally feel very proud that I have had the privilege of serving in such a great army.
Yes.
And I think the nation also must be proud of their armed forces who have always stood up and delivered when it mattered.
Yes,
Over
well,
to you.
absolutely, sir. The nation is proud of our forces. And today is, of course, the day when we are saluting our Jawans. Not today, in fact, every day. It's a day to celebrate the sacrifice. Let's also go across to Major General Kochhar joining us. Major General, putting the same point across to you, if we compare the military capabilities, how advanced do you think that India's military capabilities are now vis-a-vis to that of in 1999?
First of all, thank you for inviting me to the program on Kargil Vijay Diwas. I salute the valor of our soldiers and the men who gave us the finest victory in military history of India. A lot of water has flowed under the gauges since the Kargil War. The Indian Army, to be specific to your question, the Indian Army has modernized a great deal. The deficiencies which were seen in terms of intelligence, in terms of surveillance, in terms of reconnaissance, in terms of firepower, we have been able to make up those in a period of 25 years. I still remember I was a lieutenant colonel posted as an AQG of AQMG of a division of a strike corps during Kargil. We had major deficiencies of ammunition at that point of time. And that is why when we got the Bofor's gun into Kargil, we were falling short of ammunition, and we are grateful to Israel at that point of time for giving us a great amount of precision-guided bombs and ammunition. So today, we do not have those kind of deficiencies in the Indian Army. We have been able to make up a fast-track procurement procedure. Has been a new defense acquisition procedure 2020 has come about, and a fast-track acquisition procedure is in place now. Secondly is that our missile capability with the coming in of BrahMos and Akash missiles and the Prithvi missiles has been augmented. The third is, I was talking about the surveillance and reconnaissance. Today, we have got plenty of drones in our armory. They have already been deployed at the Ladakh border and are giving us real-time information about the Chinese. Today, we are able to make out where the bunkers are coming in, where the Chinese movement is taking place. Possibly, this kind of information was lacking at the time of Kargil. Fourth is the important aspect of cyber warfare and space warfare. Two important organizations have come up post-Kargil. One is the Defense Intelligence Agency and one is the NTRO, a research organization. These two organizations have an army element in them. The NTRO's number 2 is a Major General retired from the Indian Army, from the Corps of Signals. So we have certain things in place now, and with the budgetary allocation being made to us every year, you can see the type of infrastructure which is coming up in the border areas. More than 110 bridges have been constructed in the Ladakh area. And to talk specific about Jammu and Kashmir, we have a very strong infiltration grid in South Kashmir, and I'm sure the problem which is south of Pir Panjal range will also be resolved soon. And the type of equipment and the indigenization push which has been given by the Modi government now with the Atmanirbhar Bharat coming into play, and importantly, the private sector being roped in now. At the time of Kargil, we never had the private sector in place at all. Today, we find that the domestic procurement allocation of the capital budget is being made for the private sector to the extent of 25% of the domestic budget has been reserved for the private sector, and they have delivered. In the last year, we had an export of 21,000 crores, out of which the contribution of the private sector was 75%. So and especially the ammunition manufacture has also been now given to the private sector. We have 12 industries now in India which are manufacturing
Yes.
ammunition with the collaboration of the foreign industry. So there has been a dramatic change in the work culture.
Yes,
in the-
Major General, right.